You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans, and join us this evening for a very special episode as we go through all the big Irish transfers on deadline window day. So we can't wait for this. We want your involvement. We want to hear from you, the Raw faithful, to see what you think about the moves. Big news in Irish football today. Some massive moves for our Irish players, and we're going to go through them all. Get your thoughts on it. The most interactive Irish football podcast out there, Lansdowne Raw, and it's live. There we go. We've got that music. Welcome. Welcome along to Lansdowne Raw Live. I'm Martin Prendergast, and tonight I'm joined by Conor McAvoy for a very special episode. Transfer deadline day in England, France. The window's closing soon. I can see we're just like Jim White tonight. Old school fans of Irish football will know what I'm on about there. No yellow tie on me this evening, sadly, but deadline day, always a big day in football, and we're going to go through all of the big moves in Irish football this evening. Whether you think it's a good move for some of these players or not, let us know your views. Most interactive Irish football podcast out there. So if you haven't already subscribed to us, do make sure that you click subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're trying to grow that, and I'm obviously joined this evening by Conor McAvoy of Rep Tracker. Conor knows his stuff. And he's going to be the one to ask all these questions this evening. If you want to know who's making moves, we're expecting some still to come, some moves this evening for Irish players. Lots of speculation out there, and we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. So, Conor, how you doing? Transfer deadline day, is it a day that has been exciting for you?
I've been actually very busy. I've been writing a few articles all day and tweeting away all day. I didn't expect it to be this busy. It's actually been mental with the amount of transfers going through. Like, in general terms, it's been a quiet January window for most clubs, but in terms of Irish players, it's been absolutely mental. I don't think we've ever had this busy of a window with Irish players. So many in demand, so many, I don't know, we'd say we're very good players that are just looking to get to the next stage of their career with a new club. And it's good that we have Dave as our Roman reporter tonight, who's he's down at one of the grounds. I think he's over in Liège with Gavin Bazunu looking for the deal to be announced. So I'd be worried though it'd be a few intruders in this video on the outside with a few plastic dildos from back in the day, like there was at the Emirates and stuff. So I hope he's all right. But I think the main thing tonight is that, as our boy Tootie Corn has said, that boy Martin is back. That's the most important thing.
We all wanted to see. That's it. Great to be back. Thanks everyone as well for your comments. Last night's show was fantastically well watched with the two lads there. I was down at White Hart Lane, Tottenham Stadium, watching Aoife Mannion actually. She came on for 5 minutes. I would like to see her get a bit more time, but I was watching the Tottenham ladies against Man United and a 1-0 win for Man United down there. Very strange atmosphere actually. Went to the game. It was a 6:45 kickoff. They were expecting more of a support than they probably did, but they did change the kickoff from 2 o'clock to 6:45, so it stopped a local kind of kids who would have gone to that game. The women's game, incredibly popular over here in the UK with a lot of kids going to it, young girls obviously following football. But it was a very strange situation being in that White Hart Lane, that amazing new stadium, but just very, very eerie, like no fans chanting or anything. They tried to get it going a little bit, but it was a strange one. But I was hoping to see a bit more of Aoife Mannion in action, to be honest. But I did catch the show. It was very good. And I'd like to say thanks as well to some of the Raw faithful who, all notified me via direct message, just to remind me that Didsy scored a absolutely brilliant goal over the weekend.
What about that? Honestly, I haven't stopped watching. It's unbelievable, Martin. Admit it. It was different gravy. I don't think we have a single Irish player at the moment that is capable of some magic like that. So I'm absolutely delighted with it now. It was a moment that made me smile. And as Baylor said yesterday, it's not a coincidence that Didsy scored an absolute worldie and Callum O'Dowda lost 7-0. So you have a lot to answer for here, Martin. Go on. Explain yourself.
Well, again, no, it's an amazing goal. This is a bit of a myth that I hate Didsy. I do like Didsy, of course I do. I just don't buy into some of the stats. That's all. Get carried away. And this is something that we'll talk about. Obviously, chatting about an Irish move. Spoiler alert, of course. We're great to see Evan Ferguson move today, and we're talking about your judging goals as a striker, and that's something Didzy's doing now, but he didn't do it in an Ireland shirt. Let's just get the facts right on that one. He didn't do it often enough for me. Daryl Murphy-esque in a way, but I'm not gonna get too much into that because don't disrespect Didzy. No Dave this evening, just to let you know. It's a strange one. Dave's actually on holiday. He's actually gone down to Brighton this evening, and I don't know, was he thinking he was going to be reporting from the Amex Stadium to see, is he kind of waving goodbye to Evan Ferguson? But as soon as Evan Ferguson heard that Dave was on his way down to Brighton, he got out of there as soon as possible and went up to West Ham. So that was a interesting kind of coincidence, I think. But yeah, look, some brilliant moves. Let us know again in the comments what you think of the Irish moves that we're aware of so far. I do personally, I enjoyed deadline day. It's interesting, and we are focusing obviously on the UK leagues and things like that, but there will be moves that will impact on the League of Ireland as well. And are there going to be players perhaps getting loan deals and moving to that? Obviously the League of Ireland's a few weeks away starting, and looking forward to that, of course, and we will be covering that a lot more on the pod as we go into next season, of course. So
Mark, I think we need to just on the League of Ireland transfer window, if anyone's not aware, it doesn't close until 22nd of February as such, because this is the off-season window for League of Ireland clubs, so it's that little bit extended. And I think the big one with all League of Ireland fans is Johnny Kenny going to go back to Shamrock Rovers, because he didn't get his chance again at the weekend for Celtic, sat on the bench, and he actually can't go to anyone else bar Shamrock Rovers, as he's going to go on loan again this season, because you can't play for 3 teams in the same domestic season as such, or the UEFA calendar. So he's already played for Celtic, already played for Shamrock Rovers, so he'd have to go back to Shamrock Rovers or sit with Celtic really probably on the bench the rest of the season, which I don't think any of us want, but maybe Celtic might want to keep him. But I think Shamrock Rovers are confident of getting him back. Seeing Dan McDonald speak of it just there, that they're very confident that they can get him back on loan to the end of the season, which would be huge for Rovers and their tie against Molde in the UEFA Conference League next round.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And we'll obviously be covering it on the show as well. And it will be a bit of a mixed show tonight. We're obviously we've got one eye on our Sky and on social media as well, just trying to follow the latest news in Irish football. But we wanted to do this interactive show this evening to get your views, the Raw faithful. So do make comments in the comments section there. Let us know who you think, or you're happy with a move, or you're a little bit disillusioned with that guy going to make that move now. Is it a good move for him? Also, give the show a like, please. Subscribe. Lots of likes would be really appreciated. It does make a difference to us on the show, so that would be really, really appreciated. We're going to start off, obviously, just going through some of the big transfers, just to kind of summarize them, and then we'll go through individual players, let you know about them. Some of these obviously have happened the last few weeks, but as I said, we'll keep an eye on movements later on, and so we're just going to go through it here. So we will focus, first of all, Joe Gardner went from Forest to Lincoln on loan. There's a lot of loan deals, just to let you know. Conor O'Riordan, Blackburn to Crewe. Stephen Nergu from Oxford United to Salford. Matt Healy, Royal Franks, Bahrain's to Shamrock Rovers. So there's a League of Ireland one for you straight away. Ricardo Denanja, Ace FC Telford to Shrewsbury Town. Alex Murphy, Newcastle to Bolton. James Collins, Derby to Lincoln. And Owen Oseni, Gateshead to St Mirren. Anything there stand out for you, Conor?
I think one that Irish fans probably name we should probably get more used to is Joe Gardner, who's gone from Forest to Lincoln. He's been absolutely brilliant for Forest in our 21s this season. Lincoln have been a real club of developing young stars over the last few years. They've had some brilliant loan players, like did Brennan Johnson in on loan a couple of seasons ago before he really exploded for Forest. And Joe Gardner is one that's very highly touted by FAI members of staff, and that he's one I expect now to be in under 21s in March. So he's been in an under 19 training camp before, but he hasn't had an official cap as such yet. So now that he's going to go out and play first team football after what's been an excellent 18 months from playing with Forest's 21s, and he signed a new deal at Forest before going out on loan, so they think highly of him. So hopefully he can really kick on at Lincoln, and we'll see him make his under 21 debut in March.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people now, like, loan deals are quite common obviously now, and like you said, excellently explained earlier, that you can only play for 2 clubs in a loan deals in a season. But they are really important to, especially our young players coming through, that they get that opportunity to develop. They're playing in development squads, obviously with Forest or whoever they're with, but it isn't the same as going to a team in the leagues where they are playing like for mortgages and things like that, and bonuses that make an impact on their lives. And you look back in the history of football, David Beckham famously went to Preston with Moyes, playing at the time there as well. And, you know, some of these loan deals are very, very important. Like Harry Kane. Well, I want to chat about Harry Kane a little bit later, just in the context of Evan Ferguson, because I think it's important to kind of think about him as an example. So, yeah, I mean, these loan deals are really important, especially for these players who've made a move over from Ireland and, you know, people kind of have that perception, they're struggling because they've not broken through at like 21, 22, and they're still very young guys as well. And it just is so difficult to watch. I mean, I'm sure you've got one eye on your Finazaz channels this evening. Mark Travers also in action there. Oh, he's gone off now. That's really interesting.
We just turned it off as soon as he was off. You're 3-2 down.
I missed the alert there. I'd have losing 3-2. I'd have 87 minutes just
Martin, just to jump in on that thing of lads coming over, because I think Killian Phillips actually summed it up perfectly a couple of years ago, because he was playing with Drogheda's first team every week and doing very well in the League of Ireland, and then he went to Palace, and then it was like during COVID really when he started playing 21s football for Palace, and then he came out of it, and I remember an interview of him saying he just couldn't fathom it. It was so hard to get the intensity up for games, because you feel like you're not playing for anything, even when it's league games as such for under 21s football. But he said it's just so hard to get up for it, and there's nothing like men's football, not even just the context of playing at a higher standard or getting the physicality. It just feels like you're not playing for anything, and is your motivation really going to be as high what it would be if you weren't really competing for 3 points at men's football? At some people's livelihoods are on the line at the end of the day. So we think about just trying to get it men's football as soon as possible. Obviously, you have some lads that benefit more from getting that full time with the best academy coaches or best like physical coaches, because they're not ready for it yet. But if a lad's ready for men's football and is ready to be tested, you just have to get them into that environment as soon as possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I think it's a fantastic thing that we have, and yeah, it's just important. Like, every player will find their level, and I think we just need to be patient. I mean, we're all guilty, even on our show, as though, you know, we get carried away and talk about players. We want to promote Irish footballers, of course, and it helps their profile raise and obviously give them opportunities with teams as well. But, you know, we do get carried away, but, you know, they will find their way. That's the thing. We do sometimes need to be patient. Let's go on to the next lot of transfers now, just to have a chat about them. So we've got Rory Patton from Port Vale to Dundee United on loan. Cian Dillon, Shamrock Rovers to QPR. I've got a little bit about that to say myself, actually. Michael Noonan, St. Pat's to Shamrock Rovers. Darragh Burns, Shamrock Rovers to Grimsby. Rory Feely, Barrow to Crawley. Dylan Duffy, Lincoln to Chesterfield. Ed McJanet, Lecce to Odassi Cerignola. Sam Curtis from Sheffield United to St. Johnstone. An interesting one there, obviously, Cian Dillon moving from Shamrock Rovers to QPR, because I've spoken to a few QPR fans, a little bit linked to it, I suppose. You know, a lot of people will know that I follow Enfield Town non-league team near me. And we had a loan player, under 19 Welsh international, actually, Alfie Tuck, playing, and he went back from Enfield Town to back to QPR, is basically his parent club, but really influential player for us at Enfield Town's non-league level, you know, so the Panorama, North, or wherever it is. And but really, really tidy player, technically very, very good, you know. And again, he was in the cut and thrust of a relegation battle with Enfield Town. But the guy who's also joined, he's gone back now to QPR, and he's like apparently the standout player now in their development squads. You know, he's learnt so much from that. And Cian Dillon, who's obviously also moved from Shamrock Rovers to QPR, he's already got in there, I think, and he's scored goals already. And I've heard really positive things from QPR fans who are friends of mine. Have just said, look, who's this Irish guy come over? What do you think of him? And it just is an interesting thing from the profile of players that, you know, doing very, very well or given the opportunity. And a lot of these clubs as well, when they can bring these Irish players over, obviously Brexit has an impact now on how early players can come over. But their business model now for these clubs is to kind of develop them and then hopefully get a few bob for them down the line. That's a business model for some of these clubs now, especially. So it's also relevant, obviously, to Irish players. Anyone else on that slide that you're interested in?
I think just for the future, I would say really, obviously, Ed McJanet and Sam Curtis kind of needed to get out of their current situations, and Sam needed to just get to a different club on loan. But then I think the Michael Noonan one going from St. Pat's to Shamrock Rovers is a very good move for Michael Noonan, because it's not often you'd say that Shamrock Rovers, with the depth they have in striker, the striker department isn't the same as St. Pat's, what they have with Aidan Keane and Mason Melia. Just Michael Noonan wouldn't have got the game time with them two ahead of him. So I think he's better off going to Rovers, and Rovers have been after him for quite a few years now. So the fact he's only 16 and he'll go into their first team well, he probably won't start many games, but he'll be in that environment, and he will get a few minutes here and there, and then he can try and prove himself and break in, because you'd have to be a good player now to be even involved in the Shamrock Rovers first team. So he's a one for the future, definitely very good player.
Oh yeah, no. Hopefully, we're going to see a few of these not playing for Ireland and going forward in the next few years. And then the last slide we've got at the moment, and we will go through individual players. Obviously, it's Alex Gilbert from Middlesbrough to Charlton on loan, Darius Lipsiak from Stoke City to Walsall, John Egan, Burnley to Hull City. John Egan will be familiar with many Irish fans, of course. Happy to see him get that move. It hasn't really worked out at Burnley, but we want to see him getting back from kind of horrific time with injury. So hopefully that goes well for him. Evan Ferguson, that's the one we will be chatting about in a big detail coming up. And we want your views on that one as well. Do you think it's going to work out? It's a loan deal, Brighton to West Ham, back with Potter there. And hopefully we'll see how he gets on there. Which he's not eligible, is he? He wasn't eligible for this evening, was he? But because he would have had to sign a few days ago. But we've seen the photos, we've seen the kind of the press releases now, so that's confirmed, which is really, really good. Ali Rekbar from Jesus, I think you'll be stitching me up here with this one. Ali Rekbar, Raptaniki to Maribor. There you go. How's he then as a player? Is he good?
He used to be at. Do you remember the famous Ireland '19 team from a couple of years ago that got to the Euro semi-final? That was missing a lot of lads, and still got the semi-final when Afolabi was the main man. He was playing right wing in that team, so a lot of people remember from that. I'd imagine, Martin, if you probably looked him up again, you'd probably remember the face. But he was at Leicester for a while, and then he has I think he's strong at Algerian family, so I think he went to Algeria for a couple of years playing football there. And then he was in North Macedonia there, actually. And he got a player of the half season. They have half seasons in North Macedonia. And he got player of the season there. And then he signed for Maribor there actually today. So actually a very good signing for Maribor. That's a good club to go to. Slovenian champions usually, and are compete at a high level in Europe. So it's actually a very good move in that context. And just a few other moves that have just gone through since that is, because we've missed that. Joe Bryan Whitmarsh has gone to Accrington Stanley on loan. Dara Costello has gone to Northampton on loan. He was at Accrington Stanley. Burnley recalled him. Now he's stepped up a division to go on loan to League One. Teo Daramola has gone on loan to Bradford City after what was a difficult spell at Stockport. He just needs to go somewhere that he'll play every week, because he's such a talent that needs just to get his confidence back up, because his confidence seems shot. And I think that's really it. Cathal McCarthy had gone from Hull City to from UCD to Hull City, but he'll be back at UCD until the end of the summer to finish his junior cert. Leaving cert, sorry. And obviously, one I forgot actually was we'll go on to the rest of them. Actually, we'll go on to the rest of them.
So there's a lot of speculation tonight. I just want to say thank you as well to the Raw faithful out there. Over 1,000 of you, 1,100 now watching on a Monday night, which is amazing to see that support. And we want to hear more from you. We want to hear your comments. Let us know. Make sure you've also subscribed to the page. We're trying to push the YouTube, especially. Follow us as well on Twitter. Conor is at RepTracker, and I'm at LRaw_pod on X, and also the Facebook page as well, Lansdowne Road, where we do. If you're new to the pod as well, just to let you know, this is a regular thing. We are Irish fans, by the fans, for the fans. We will say what we feel. We want to hear your comments. We will criticize the FAI. We know they watch it. But, we are quite balanced, I think, with our views overall. And generally, we're here to kind of give you the latest news on Irish football, especially about players who are eligible, especially coming up to this March window now, which is going to be a massive kind of start with obviously the Nations League. And then we've got the World Cup qualification campaign commencing then in September. So big year for the pod. So we do appreciate your support. And if you are watching along now, just copy the link that you're watching it on and send it off to about 5 friends. That'd be really appreciated. Right. That's enough promotion. So there's a bit of speculation this evening as well, isn't there? Yeah. Bit of speculation this evening with a couple of other kind of probably high profile moves. First one I just want to go through is Kasey McAteer, a little bit of a rejected been reported by The Athletic there. Leicester City are projecting an approach from Sunderland for midfielder Kasey McAteer. Sunderland presenting an offer of a loan with an obligation to buy for 8 million, rising to above 10 million and with add-ons. He's a player I actually didn't see in action recently. I went to Spurs versus Leicester. He didn't get any game time, and now I was actually with a Leicester fan at that, and I said, "What do you think of him?" And he wasn't too positive in his review of him, to be honest. Thought he's a bit light and doesn't get enough game time, doesn't offer enough for them. But I can understand perhaps he's a winger. He's they're scrapping for their lives, aren't they, Leicester? But do you think that's got a realistic way of happening, perhaps?
I seen actually you can't see on the first picture on the left that you can't really read the writing. It said on it. No, but you can't even see. I just remember from what the tweet was.
Oh yeah, they're expected to
come back in from. Yeah, they'll come back in from, and then they will. Leicester are trying to find a replacement, which is, I think, very hard to do on transfer deadline day because it's a very late time to come in from. If the move happened, I'd be very happy with the move because Kasey probably needs regular game time. As Sunderland, who are one of the top championship sides, like they're probably about to beat Middlesbrough now tonight, and they'd be top 3 favourites now to go up. Obviously, you have Burnley, Sheffield United are currently the 2 top ones at the moment, but then things change very easily. He's a good player. Whether he's good enough in the long term to play for Ireland with all the wingers we've coming through with the likes of Rocco Vata, Ike Arazi, so many top talents we have coming through in the wing. Whether he will keep that place, we just don't know. But no, with add-ons, it shows that they think a lot of them. So it'll be interesting now to see how it develops over the next. Well, we have an hour and 5 minutes, and we haven't heard anything since. So I'd imagine if we don't hear anything in the next 20 minutes to half an hour, it's probably falling apart completely.
Yeah, they do drip through those, don't they, these transfers? Some of them do end up just being loans and the paperwork's being done. That's why it's quite an exciting night. And I mean, look, Sky do a whole show about it, and that's why we think their idea, basically. But we were going to do it, obviously, focused on Irish players. So, I do appreciate your support watching this evening. But yeah, we want to see more comments, please. Let us know what your thoughts are on who you think has made a good move, or you're disappointed not to see move. A lot of people have spoken about Kelleher getting out of Liverpool. Perhaps, probably, we didn't think it was that likely this time of year with what was going on there. But another goalkeeper from Ireland that is probably relevant to as well is Gavin Bazunu. Bit of speculation here, Conor. Standard Liège will attempt to secure Gavin Bazunu from Southampton on a straight loan in the final moments of the transfer window. We've seen him obviously coming back from that horrific injury, and he's kind of been fast-tracked into that, and his recovery kind of rate has been incredible. But there's work now in progress in order to make the deal happen as it runs after time. But yeah, look, that might be one that does happen. I think it would be a great move for him. I've got no problem with him going abroad. It is a loan deal. You've got to remember as well, it's 3 months really left of the season, 4 months now. And we need him playing at a really high level as well. I mean, it's all right. We've said earlier, they're playing in development games and things like that. But and obviously he'll be tested. But I think that is one that I wouldn't mind seeing happen.
Yeah, it seems like that one's about to. That one's going to happen. He's on his way to. Well, he was on his way to Belgium about 4 or 5 hours ago. So, I think the medical was hopefully straightforward from him, and it was something that needed to happen. Was Gavin Bazunu needed to be playing games? I seen that Dan McDonald said that Southampton's preference was not to send him to Championship. They didn't want to send him to a league like that after coming back from injury. So maybe they wanted a less physical league, more technical, that you can see more of his skills in terms of ball playing ability and stuff. But it's great to see Bazunu now back. He'd be back playing every week. It seemed Ajax were in from, Udinese were in from. So there were some good clubs after him, which shows the level of talent he is. Obviously, he won't be number one for Ireland in March. I think that's a straightforward thing. I think Kelleher's done enough to keep his place. And but it's great to see Gavin Bazunu back playing because he made one of the best saves I've ever seen in my life last weekend for their 21s. But at the end of the day, it's still 21 football, and he's way, way above that. So no, it'll be great to see him get back playing every week, and it's a new league for us to watch now every week with Gavin Bazunu playing in Belgium, which is always good to have a new lad playing every week, a new league.
Yeah, and that's another thing about this transfer window. Obviously, look, we're able to follow it a lot more now on social media and see where these players are going. And, we're looking for every kind of snippet of information. I mean, you've been flat out today, Conor, and, you're looking at agents, you're looking at Instagram posts. You've got even people leaking it from, like photos of players walking into kind of the stadiums and things like that for their photo shoot and stuff. That's what comes with it. It must be quite an emotional day for the players as well sometimes, of how, it's just kind of rush, isn't it? Of what, they're moving. They might even, a lot of these players, they might move quite a distance as well, especially if they're going abroad. It's unsettling from where they've moved from. They've got to then think about, accommodation, where they're going to be living, obviously family circumstances as well. I mean, we think it's so easy being a footballer, and it probably is in some ways with the money they get, of course. But the upheaval, and then it just sometimes doesn't work out. I mean, I think of Aaron Connolly, who actually scored the other day, didn't he? He's made a successful move already. You could judge it on that, like Sunderland to Millwall, a goal the other day. But you think of his troubles over the years where he's moved and it's not worked out, and you're hearing all sorts of speculation about him on social media. And obviously he was very brave enough to come out recently and say, the challenges he's had, like with alcohol addiction and things like that. So great to see him getting a goal the other day. And again, just following different leagues abroad. I mean, I know you two lads were doing all sorts and stupidly, for some reason, admitting to it the other day, trying to dual log in on these dodgy streams you two have, you and David.
Don't blame me.
I can't believe it. You admitted it.
No, but it wasn't
Jesus.
He texted me. He goes, "Go on there, log in to see if it works."
Guilty, Gov.
See if it works. I wouldn't do that such a thing. I would full on embrace the illegal streaming. He wants to copy it. He wants to cheat and tries to get to. But no. He just asked to see if it worked. But no, it didn't work. Don't worry. I'm not like David Dunn.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to obviously follow all the leagues now of what's happening in all these moves, of course, obviously the impact it has on Irish football. So another one, interesting, a player who's really, really popular with Irish fans, obviously from his exploits when he created that fantastic last-minute goal for Robbie Brady. And also even at Wembley, he won on that Maisie run. And I know we'll probably get called out for that now, getting carried away just for a Maisie run. But the chant as well, Festy, 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 how he was embraced, obviously, by the Irish fans away that time. So, a move from him, from his parent club, basically, Udinese to Istanbul Başakşehir. That's how you said it, isn't it? Last night? I'm butchering it. So, if you are listening to us for the first time, Dave butchers some of these names. So that's why I wanted to continue that. So you can think I'm trying to just pay tribute to Dave there. But yeah, Festy's moved there. I know we spoke about it last night. Do you think that one will work out? He's a certainty, isn't he, for the squad? You would think in March, anyway.
If he's fit, because we don't know. We presume he's still injured because he got a nasty injury when he was at Watford, and cleverly said he'd be out for quite a while. So, unless he made a miraculous recovery or he was misdiagnosed initially, we probably won't see him in March. But it's hard to know with this move because the Turkish league isn't bad at all, but it's kind of stepping into the unknown because we've never had an Irish international. There was one other Irish fella played there before, but not an international level. It's like, will an international go there and shine, or will he be just another man in the Turkish league? Because I know Başakşehir play 5 at the back, which will suit him, and the fans will love him because he'll get them off their feet and he'll take men on, he'll drive with it. But there'll be pressure on him now going there because they're a type of team that want to finish in Europe every year. They have invested. They're only a club that was only founded in 1990, and they've had a lot of money pumped into them. Because I remember when they played Pats in the Conference League qualifier there, they had very few fans at the game because there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't be biggest fans of that sort of club because of the way they carry their business out with the amount of money to pump in. So imagine Festy's on very good money there, which you can never blame a lad for investing in their career. But I think he will do well there. But it still is, we always do think though, we'd like to think that Festy could play at a higher level in Turkey, but it's not a bad standard he's going to. But because of what he's done in Finland and what he's shown the promise even back in his Derby days, when he got there was a month of player at Udinese, he got player of the month. I remember him putting in a man of the match performance at the San Siro against Milan. So there's still a lot more to come from Festy. Hopefully we'll start to see it in Istanbul, but he has to go and prove it to us. It's enough talk at this stage with Festy because he's 22 now, going to be 23 this year. It wasn't long ago he was that 19-year-old kid for Derby, so the time does go past fast, so he needs to start to like really, really step it up and show it consistent Festy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that as well, because another player, obviously, who's also got a move, who also has had a few transfers, and high-profile transfers in a way that he's kept in the English league. Andrew Omobamidele, he's finally now got a move to Nottingham Forest, to Strasbourg, made his debut the other day. I see L'Equipe gave him a 6 out of 10, which wasn't a bad rating for his debut. But he's a player, he's moved around quite a bit, and I'll be honest with you, he's probably kind of, look, there's not really many poor footballers at this level, but he would have made a few quid off these moves, you would have thought. And that is a thing of worry for me sometimes. And I'm not, obviously, I wouldn't know the situation with the agents and things, but the motivation sometimes is you get moved and moved and moved, and you're getting these signing on deals, or you're getting paid up on contracts and stuff. I mean, we've seen that more high profile with some of these loan deals now, especially like for example, the likes of Rashford and stuff, all delayed to the end because you're negotiating the incredible wage structure of these loan deals. But Omobamidele would have done all right from those moves financially over time, but it's now where we need to see him playing like Festy. You need to see.
I think you're overreacting, Martin.
Do you think so?
Because this is only his second move. Because he went from Norwich to Forest, and now he's gone from Forest and to Strasbourg. So this is only his second move, really. Because he went from
still, he's gone for big money though, and he's never settled in. Like it was just strange that Forest never ever give him an opportunity, did they?
Last season they did play him quite a bit. Like he did play quite a bit, and then they brought in Milenkovic. Like they were linked to Jake O'Brien in the summer as well. Like so, there were. Forest just are the type of club that they do continue to spend. Obviously, they have a very good squad now, but they have spent they've had a lot of positions where they've invested a lot of money into. Even if you look at their strikers, Awani was their number 9 last season, and now when you look at him now, he comes off the bench the odd time, not very good. They had even Origi at the club, did Emmanuel Dennis at the club. I don't think it's money motivated with Omobamidele, because with things I heard in the summer, he was desperate to get a move, and he was very annoyed when he didn't get a move in the summer away from Forest, because he wanted to be playing regular first team football. So I don't think it's money motivated with him, because I've listened to him on podcasts and stuff, and you can just tell he just loves football, and he loves the art of defending and getting better. And even as you say, a 6 out of 10 in L'Equipe is sitting. I think they've only, is it something in their history, they've only give 2 or 3 10 out of 10 performances in the history of football. So
it's hard to impress.
Like a 6 out of 10 for them is like for us is a 7 or an 8 or 7.5, I'd say. But no, he's I've seen comments from Strasbourg fans saying they absolutely love him already, and I think Omobamidele could play for one of the very top clubs. It's just he's been so unlucky in terms of he had a very bad back injury at a while at Forest. Then this season, Milenkovic and Murillo with him last season were very good together, and it was kind of thing that he didn't play them every week together because the combined age of the two of them was 40 or something. They both were 20-year-olds, and they didn't want to do that in the Prem. And then Milenkovic came in fairness, summer, and he's been one of the best defenders in the Premier League. So I think you're a bit harsh saying as money motivated.
No, I'm not saying it's money motivated. I'm just saying he has had big moves. That's all. But do you think as well, though, just on the back of that, then, because you're putting words in my mouth there.
But he's only had one big move.
But what I'm saying is but still he has kind of been at 2 English clubs, decent transfer fees. And then
the first one, you can't say because the first one he went from Leeds Club United as a 16-year-old.
But the Forest one was big money, wasn't it? It was big money, and then
like 10 million.
Yeah, decent money, on the back of what he'd done so far, and then he went, so he's made that move. But I'm just sometimes I do question the motivation of agents, and are they involved in these moves?
Some agents,
I'm not saying he's money motivated at all, but I'm saying he won't be. He'll have done all right out of those deals though, because they are big money deals basically. So he's done all right out of them, and not necessarily playing. And that's the thing for me. I do want to see some of these lads playing. You can just get that little kind of just moving around. And I know he's only had 2, but still, do you think he's actually kind of inspired a little bit like the Jake O'Brien situation where he took a chance, went to France, and see how well he did there? And I think it's brilliant because it's a different style of football. You do learn an awful lot as well. The continental game, whatever way we look at it. I mean, I watched a bit of Borough and Sunderland earlier, and it's 100 mile an hour course, but just that patient build up, a little bit more time on the ball perhaps. Do you think he'll benefit from that a little bit like Jake O'Brien?
Yeah. Yeah, he will. I think it's more a thing of, I think he probably would have been interested, like an Irish footballer probably would be interested in that sort of move anyway, because Strasbourg have a good record of recent with developing footballers, and the fact they have Liam Rosenior as their manager is probably good for any English speaking lad that they can go over, and it's not like it's a translating from what the manager's saying. He can probably have a good relationship with him, and obviously Strasbourg have that connection with Chelsea, which is always probably a good benefit for any footballer they know in a couple of years' time, that if they do well, Chelsea might come in for them. But yeah, he definitely would have took inspiration. I don't know whether it was inspiration or he would have just looked. He's like, oh, well, look what Jake done in France. If he can do that in France, I can do that in France. He went and got that move to Everton in the summer, which was more of a lot more high profile of move than what Andrew's move to from Norwich to Forest was. So no, I think he'll continue to be absolutely brilliant in France, and he can easily become one of the best defenders in that league. Like they had that fella Danso, who's gone, the Austrian lad that's gone from Lens to Spurs there yesterday. So he signed. So it's a very underrated league in that sense. There's a lot of talent in there. Some of the best talent in the world comes from the French league, and I do think that he will do brilliantly there. And I do think the fact that Jake O'Brien has kind of set a standard now for what Irish players can do in the French league, because there'll be a lot of Irish players be looking at what Jake O'Brien done and think, I'm more talented than that lad. If he can do that in the French league, I can certainly go do that. Not against Jake O'Brien, but just I think lads will think that, and I think hopefully we'll see more and more lads test themselves at them sort of leagues, because like a lot of championship matches you watch these days are very hard in the eye. Like some of the lads you can see, it suits some like a Malumbi type player that's very physical and gets stuck in, but your more technical players, even with Omobamidele, he's a very technical defender. He's superb on the ball. So, no, I think getting to France is a big coup.
I'm just reading some of the comments already coming in. Do keep them coming in, Raw Faithful. That's great. But yeah, look, I've got David Dunn here. I don't know who he is. He's just the Evan Ferguson stalker down in Brighton. But leave Omo alone. Didn't put in the surname there because we know he struggles to say that. And then he's obviously, geez, Martin, can't wait to hear over the beeping coming from your reversing. No, just to clarify, I think like these players though, they are making these moves. And the next question I'd kind of say, Conor, and also for the listeners and viewers is, do we need to be more patient with some of these players? They're getting moves. They come to the kind of, their profile kind of gets raised when they get into Ireland squads. Let's not forget some of, that's one thing Stephen Kenny did do. He did fast track some of these players. They got their opportunities probably before their time, some of them. I mean, I remember seeing Omobamidele and Mark McGuinness playing centre back against Wales in a lockdown game for the under 21s. And do we need to be a bit patient with them? To like let them have their moves, their work, their plan and development squads. They are, like I said, these clubs are buying players and being patient with them and thinking, look, we'll take a gamble on them, and they're kind of retaining their value, aren't they? Though, some of these players, you're not missing out on them. Even like the Kasey McAteer there. But what did they buy him for then, Leicester?
They didn't buy him.
What? Oh, exactly. So the value then.
Academy product, yeah. I think the big thing is you do need to promote young players, because if any country is going to get better, if any club's going to get better, you need to promote from within. And I think with the likes of Ireland, like Stephen Kenny done, in sense of that context, he did God's work in terms of bringing lads through like that. Like Troy Parrott was playing in League One. Omobamidele had, when he made his debut against against Portugal, I remember he came on and he would play it about maybe 3-4 times for Norwich in the championship that stage. Like we needed all them lads brought through, and I think now more we can be more patient with the lads, because if you look at that under 21 team we had from there with the likes of Boston Lowell, Andrew Moore and Sinclair Armstrong, Aidan Omako, them lads would have been all fast tracked to the first team if that was Stephen Kenny's first reign, because simply there was no young lads ahead of them. But now the likes of like Troy Power already in there, Ferguson's already in there, Jason Knight was already in there, so it's not like they're trying to just fill a gap. It's now there's competition for places, and it's starting to become huge depth in the Irish. Obviously, there's some positions like left back were quite weak, right back were quite weak. As a number 8, we're still crying out for a number 8. Like, but no, it's starting to improve, and I think you do the big thing. You do need to trust in youth. Like, we need it. Like, if Rocco is not in the March squad, I'll be pulling my hair out because I'll be thinking, like, we have to invest in the future, especially with a World Cup qualifying campaign coming up. We know we need them lads embedded into the squad in some context before September. Not that if he starts scoring the start of the season, we're just randomly just throwing him into the squad.
Yep, no, I get your point on that, and it's all very, very valid. And look, just want to say thank you to the Raw Faithful, 1,500 of you watching it tonight. And look, I think you can you do need to kind of spread the word here. You can watch Sky Sports News all evening to find a little snippet of Irish football and where the lads have moved in this window. But, I think we'd all agree that Conor knows his stuff here. He's mentioning players, mentioning tactics of these European teams that I haven't got a clue about and that Dave can barely pronounce. Thank God he's not on here tonight. And, yeah, just want to thank you for your viewership this evening. It's no coincidence because Dave's not here that, this is where you get the sense. This is where I probe Conor. Where he gives us the kind of key information on these Irish footballers, because look, probably I'm a bit of an older statesman of the pod, the wizened head, and probably like many of you who go to Irish football matches, sometimes I'm convinced Irish fans don't often, and I know this sounds very disparaging of Irish fans, but half the time lads don't know where people even play. It's just that kind of journey that we've been on. I'm telling you, Conor, it's a fact.
It's fair, friend, as it happens to a lot of people. Like, I remember I remember watching, as well, I don't know, before I would have been using social media. I remember seeing Aidan O'Brien coming on for his debut for Ireland and thinking, who is this guy? So it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best for smart, and you don't want to
discriminate. No,
against
I'm not killing everybody, but I'm just saying that some of the older generation as well wouldn't have a clue. And and also I still wince at this when I was in the Faroe Islands, which is on one of the story of that, which was the lock-in one where we couldn't get off the island. But I wince at this memory of leaving the toilets and meeting Stephen Reid on the way out, and someone went, "Well done, Clinton," today. And so that still makes me laugh. And I went, and I kind of just caught his eye and went, "No, well done, Stephen. That was all right today." But yeah, very funny. So yeah, look, give us, even if you're coming on to give us stick, want to hear your comments, give us your views, let us know what you think. Are you excited for some of these ones in the window?
Is there one transfer that you're annoyed hasn't happened? One fella you didn't want? You're annoyed hasn't got a transfer, like Ryan Manning, if he hasn't really been playing as much recently, or even Smallbone has been linked with a move away from Southampton, but it seems like he's himself has gone away from it. But no, I think we need to get into the next transfer to get through these transfers that we've been talking about.
Yeah, we will. But first of all, we just comment now. Jeff's just made a very valid point here. What is the real benefit of Irish football to the long-term asset stripping of Irish football to England? Poor transfer fees. The only future is the development of the game in Ireland. Respect your work, gents. That's just to me and you, Conor, not Dave. So thanks for your comment there, Jeff. We appreciate that. And then I'm getting a little bit of stick from Baylor. 7-0 against O'Dowd. I think that's a comment from yesterday, so that's not even relevant. I don't think we should. I know it says. I know it's a Dizzy Beauty. Shows the levels. Not surprised you went into hiding yesterday, Prendy. Delighted to see Conor O'Dowd and Callum Robinson extend their contracts at Cardiff, although probably wasn't that well received when they conceded 7. So that was a shame. But yeah, look, get your comments in. We do want to hear from you. And
by the way, Jeff's right on that the future is the development in the game in Ireland. That's how you develop football in the country. He is right there. But at the end of the day, it is every footballer's dream from Ireland probably to play in England at the end of the day. But it's about trying to get the max value.
But I think that will happen now. The profile of the League of Ireland is definitely raised on the back of Shelburne last year again, and even Damien Duff coming out the other day saying, he had opportunities to move to England himself. I think that would have been an incredible loss, whoever you support, if he'd have left the League of Ireland. I think that gives substantial backing.
And I think, Martin, I think when Mason Melia moves on now, well, I think a deal will be agreed soon, I would hope, but he can move on in September. I think he will smash all records in Ireland for transfer fees, and he will get to a figure that we've never even dreamed of an Irish player getting to. So I think that will help make people more respect them, and I think clubs are now starting to get a lot more firmer with their stances. Like there's still a long way to go, but at least if we can develop the game here and start to at least be firmer with our stance, because it's going to be every Irish player's end of the dream still to play in England, because playing in the Premier League is still the highest level, and even get to the Championship, you're only one step away from getting to the top league. So it's still a long way to go, but I do think we're finally starting to see inroads into that. It's still a long way away, but I think we are starting to see there's a lot of good people getting involved that are trying to help things out.
Yep, certainly agree with that. And obviously this guy now. Let's just talk about Evan Ferguson, because this is one, for me, that is a big. This move for me is the one. We've been crying out for him to get a move, and he's obviously signed as a loan deal today, Brighton to West Ham. Evan Ferguson. Is there an option to buy on that? Do you know?
No, there's not. No, it's a straight loan.
No. Straight loan. I think you did.
You done your research anyway, Martin.
No. I'm just.
Right.
You were getting a bit carried away last night, saying he'd be 100 million and stuff if he scores 10 goals and things.
He will be. I'm telling you for a fact. If he scores 10 goals, he'll be worth 100 million again. They'll be all crying. Once the English media starts hopping on him again and loving him again, and once you went black there for a second, I thought, what happened to you?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
But remember back in the day when we had Alan Shearer raving about him on Match of the Day?
This is the thing.
Once they start raving about him again, once they start hopping back on the Evan Ferguson bandwagon and they stop comparing him to lads like Liam Delap, we will rise again, and he would be worth 100 million again. I can guarantee you that for a fact.
Yeah, because what you're seeing there, though, even like people are talking about Liam Delap this evening, and I've seen that speculation about him perhaps moving. Arsenal obviously haven't made a move, and who they're looking at. And there are some great strikers out there, obviously tearing up in the Premier League. But yeah, look, Evan's move. I think we have to be patient with Evan. He has had injury troubles, of course. I mean, there's a little undercurrent I'm getting sometimes from different contacts saying, he's got to work hard, he's got to settle down, he's got to work hard. I don't really buy into that. I think he's just not been rated as by certain managers there at Brighton. And like even you spoke about it last night about Danny Welbeck hasn't scored enough goals. Was it October he hadn't scored? Was that right, Conor? Danny Welbeck, was it his last goal in October? Danny Welbeck's last goal.
Yeah, October last goal. Yeah, it was October.
I mean, that's kind of Didsey Island form kind of stuff. That was.
He was still getting man of the matches, though, when he was still getting man of the matches.
Not true. After that, you buy into these myths. Anyway, back to Evan. Yeah. I think we have to be very patient with him, and the player I would kind of link him a little bit to, because I love the fact that Shearer was talking about him and Micah Richards and the profile of these players, and they were talking about his ability and what he was bringing to games, and ultimately he scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. That's amazing, and it's very, very difficult to do. And he was consistently doing it for a while. He's had injury problems. There's a lot of pressure heaped on him. Again, this is the fast tracking of Evan Ferguson, which I think we kind of got wrong. I mean, I remember being in the Clayton Hotel for the Crisk AGM, and Stephen Kenny was there, and he spoke to, it was near Leopardstown basically, and Stephen Kenny done a Q&A with Irish fans, and he was saying that he was 16 at the time, Evan. He said, we've got to fast track him, we're bringing him in, he's a man, he's a man already, he's got it, kind of thing. He was going to be the hope, so we're going to fast track and bring him in. Brilliant. I mean, look, but he went up the France game, where we were very unlucky not to get a result that night. Stephen Kenny's obviously under pressure as well, but the way we set up that night, I felt so sorry for Evan Ferguson, but also the expectation of the fans who were even surrounding me were saying, he's not much coppers. He's not, he couldn't get a kick that night, and he was up against two world-class, probably centre-backs, France that night. The expectation of him as a young guy was incredible and over the top, to be honest. But I do think we have to be patient with him. If you're hearing Alan Shearer and Micah Richards talk about the attributes he has as a striker, that he's got something special, I think we need to listen, especially Shearer, because he's been there and done it. And I just think Jesus. But I think we need to just be a bit patient with him still. And I do, at the start of the show as well, I did make mention of Harry Kane. Like, Harry Kane, it took him a long time to develop. Like, I know he's very, very big, Evan Ferguson. He's a big guy. But Harry Kane had this growth spurt. about 17, 18. You know, he was nearly being released by Tottenham. He was struggling at Leyton Orient. And then it all just clicked into play for him. But he had that incredible work ethic. And that's what I really hope to see from Evan Ferguson that he's going to have. And I'm hopefully winning back there with Potter now, manager who obviously had him at Brighton back in the day, is that it might kickstart him here. And it's a perfect scenario for me that, you know, Antonio sadly is out injured for them. That they do need a striker. And I'm hoping he'll be fit and get a run of games now. And what's your thoughts on that overall, Conor? But do give us your comments. Let us know as well, Raw Faithful, what you think.
They were meant to sign another striker from Lorient today on a loan with an option to buy in the summer, an obligation, but the move had fallen through, I believe, I know it was the structures of the money they were meant to pay. So Evan literally is the only striker there now with Fulcrook and obviously Antonio, but Fulcrook's injured. I'd imagine that if Evan doesn't play, they'll just go back to Jared Bowen up front, who played there today. But no, I think Everton has it. I just think he has it all, and I don't see much of an issue with us saying how good Evan Ferguson is, because Evan Ferguson simply is that good. And when the English media starts jumping onto him, it starts jumping onto this hype with him. What are we supposed to do? Just not join back in, or like just say no, he's no good? Like, if once the English media gets onto a player and says they're that good, the whole world's, because a lot of people, like, as we know, Martin, don't like to think for themselves, and whatever Alan Shearer says, or whatever, or in Irish context, whatever Brian Kerr says, or what Johnny Giles says, or what Liam Brady says is the be all and end all. And but no, I think he'll absolutely tear it up with West Ham. I think that with Potter there, he'll be playing every week no matter what. He's an unbelievable finisher. He has it all. Like, he links play, he can drop deep. His first touch is immaculate. He's so strong. He's unbelievable in there. He has everything you need to be a world-class striker in modern football. Obviously, he's not there yet, but there's nothing wrong with us saying how good he is at the moment. Obviously, but we're all talking about potential at the moment. But I don't think there's anything wrong with us saying how good Evan Ferguson will be, because what is wrong with saying positive reviews of a player? Is that better than saying, oh no, we think he's overrated, he's not that good? That's only a club when you don't want a player to sell. You make up this thing, oh, we don't think he's that good. But we all love Evan Ferguson. We know how good he is.
Yeah. Look, I absolutely love him. I think I don't buy into the whole thing of he's a kind of bad egg. He's not working hard. I think we will see that. You know, like he's surrounded by, like, his dad's a good lad. You know, a former FAI coach, obviously a player. He's got to be guided by the best people. It's a good move, I think, for him, and he'll be shown a little bit of love there as well. And of course, he's, like, you know, in a month's time, he'll be called up to the Ireland squad without a doubt. Shown a bit of love there. I think it's interesting as well that Brighton haven't done the loan with the obligation to buy, because that kind of sets out your stall that, look, we are actually willing to listen to payment terms here and a contract sum. Whereas, you know, Brighton, it's a gamble there, isn't it? They're wanting him to go and score goals for West Ham. And if he does, everyone comes calling them, because you have to remember as well, you know, we actually spoke about a past show about Arsenal. Even, like, I've spoken to a lot of Tottenham friends of mine, the idiots. And you know, I said to them, you know, like, you've got to be looking at him. If he's 40 million, which was there was a speculation he was £40 million price tag. I was saying it's a gamble for it's nothing these days, that, like, on a striker who has played and scored goals in the Premier League. So I'm not surprised he got the move.
Yes, 75 million on
yeah.
Rasmus. Rasmus, just for to run around like a madman. But no, I'm glad.
Yeah, but
I'm happy.
Like, I'm patient with Rasmus though as well. Like, I think United is just such a mess. They're not set up.
I'll go away with your Rasmus. I've never seen a man so bad with his back to goal in my life.
No,
First
but he didn't
like a trampoline, and he can't play his back to goal unless you put it in.
Like that. He didn't.
Unless you put the ball in behind for him, he can't offer. He's gone. His head's gone. He doesn't have the ability to play for Man United, whether you like it or not. He just doesn't have the ability to play for Man United. He just isn't. He just isn't ever going to be a world class striker. He was factually, in my eyes, the worst players in the Euro in the summer. So that wasn't even Ireland pressure. He was playing for Denmark, where he was supposed to be. Eriksen's always the main man for Denmark, but he was still meant to contribute, and he was absolutely useless in Euros. He was the worst player in the tournament. His first touch is dreadful. His back to goal is dreadful. Unless you put it in behind him, he doesn't offer nothing. Like, no, it's just, you can't even compare him to Ferguson, because Ferguson's just abilities on another level. But I think we need to move on from Ferguson, because we can't just talk about Ferguson all night.
No. I think one thing I would say, Ferguson, just a bit more patience with him, because I know people say that's crazy patience, but I think there's definitely a player there, and I think he will get opportunities. And even like Rashford's move today, like you've got to need a little bit of luck sometimes. Rashford made it through at Man United very, very early in his career because of injuries to an Ireland player, actually, wasn't it? Who was that?
Anthony Martial is not Irish.
No. Keane.
Anthony Martial is what?
Anyway.
No, he only came. He was. Do you remember Anthony Martial? He made his debut because Anthony Martial got injured in the warm up, and then he scored
against Arsenal.
Twice.
Against Arsenal.
No, but that was
but he was called up from the reserves because Will Keane was injured. No.
Yeah, but then he only was then Martial got injured
because Will Keane was above him and Will Keane was injured, so Rashford was the first reserve in there. There you go. I always link it back to Irish
Will
football.
Keane
Knowledge.
Will Keane. He was still English at that stage.
Has Will Keane scored a goal for Ireland?
Obviously not.
No?
He had a goal disallowed against Portugal.
That's
Matt Doherty somewhat they said he fouled him.
Oh, that's right.
We should have won.
Yeah.
Robbed.
Yeah. But like again, you
Stephen
just need
Kenny
that little thing of that kind of sliding doors moment. Rashford got his moment getting through Man United that time. Kicked on, had a very good career overall, and then obviously it's gone a bit wrong at United, but he's been there since 6, so it's time to go there. But like Evan will just need that little bit of luck, I think, sometimes as well. You do need that, especially as a striker. And I'm looking forward to seeing great things with him, of course. We did focus obviously a little bit on a Watford player going out the door back to via Udinese, Festy Ebosele. But James Abankwah, that was another move in the window. Happy with that one? Going the other way, Udinese to Watford. Happy with him?
Yeah, I love James Abankwah. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he has it all to be a top player in any system. I think his best position really is on the right of a back three, which I've always said. But he's played mainly as a right back for Watford in the back four since he's went, and Tom Cleverley loves him. Obviously, he had that big tackle of 28 seconds, which shows what he's all about in terms of his strength and his ability in tackle. But then yesterday he played, or today's Monday. On Saturday he played as a right centre back in a back four. So he is very versatile. Can play centre half in a back four, centre half in a back five. Can play wing back. Can play a full back. So and he's such a talented lad. Like he was in one of the main men for the under-21s this past campaign, and is still eligible for the next campaign. He was captain in March for one of the games, or not March, November, sorry. But I'd like to think that by the end of the year we'll see him make his Ireland senior debut, because he really is a top talent. He has the biggest legs I've ever seen in my life for a footballer. He's so strong. He's so fast. He's very good on the ball for someone who's usually that athletic isn't like that. So hopefully he will develop into a top player. He still has a way to go before you could say he's going to be a starter for Ireland, but he's really getting there. And hopefully now that this loan will go well, continue to go well, and he'll go back to Udinese in the summer. I don't know whether they plan maybe to sell him on and make profit on him, because I think they bought him for 450k from St. Pat's, but he'll be a very good player no matter where he goes, because he's very highly thought of.
Yep, brilliant again there, Conor. Thanks for the update on him. A player obviously kind of. I was disappointed, obviously, Festy going from Watford, because I like seeing the Rocco Vata photo with Abankwah and Festy, of course. But that's the dream has died there, sadly, with Festy going on. But yeah, that obviously seemed close to me here in London. So keep an eye on them. Try and get up there, I think, and watch them soon. Another player as well that you're predicting great things of. I've seen the show last night. John Joe Patrick Finn. That's John Joe Patrick Finn. I haven't added any extra names there like Dave did last night.
So he has one more name to it, by the way. You can add John Joe Patrick Finn, Benoit, or that, because in Spain they always add mother's last name at the end, like Aaron Ochoa Maloney. He's not actually, if he was lived in Ireland, it would just be Aaron Ochoa, but you can just add the Benoit at the end. There's BENOA, so I don't know what way they pronounce that, but but it's been great to see.
In there, is there? There's no Fitzpatrick.
No, he said Fitzpatrick. He was in his own wee world last night. I think he had Fitzgerald in it. I don't know where he's getting these names out of.
Yeah,
but
when he can't pronounce a name, he either can't pronounce a name, Dave. This is our regular host, Dave. But yeah, when he can't pronounce it, he just makes other ones up. It's great. Yeah. So happy with this guy though. You think John Joe's going to do well?
Yeah, because he's been a player that I've kind of had him in hand. Will he ever really fulfill his potential? Because he made his debut 4 years ago for Getafe in La Liga. Took 4 years to make his next appearance. He was 17. He's their youngest ever player. Never really fulfilled the potential at Getafe. He said needed to move on, honestly, for a couple of years now, because he hasn't got a chance. It's ruined his chances really of being an Ireland underage international. He's had never been capped officially. I think he's capped in a couple of under-19 friendlies, but not an official cap for Ireland. So it's been a bit of a letdown for a couple of years with him, and we never really knew what the long-term future would be. But he's gone to Reims now. I think we couldn't judge the transfer until we started seeing him play, and that.
Oh, we've lost Conor there. He might hopefully jump back in, but yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of a gremlin there in the system, because as soon as I put up Dave Dunn saying add the Fitzpatrick, you cowards, he kicked out Conor. It kicked you out there. That was Dave doing that, I think. Definitely.
Am I out?
No, you're in again. You're there. You're out.
No, he's a lot that he could add to the Ireland squad if he continues at this rate, because we lack a big physical presence in midfield. Like, when he's under pressure, he can get the ball in the half turn and drive forward, which we do lack, because our midfielders, like, some of them are very good technically, but can they carry the ball? I don't know. But I do think there's a lot he can add to us, and I think it's a very, very good move, because whether he ends up being good enough in the long term or not, we don't know yet. But it's a move that's put him in the position that we can say he's an option for Ireland now, because he wasn't even an option for the under-21s last campaign, because he just wasn't playing first team football, and now he's become an option for the first team within 3-4 months, because he's turned his career around, going on the right move. So it shows that get to the right league, start playing at a high level, and your Ireland aspirations can really turn around fast, because our talent pool isn't that deep. So no, I'm delighted with this move.
Not to upset you now too much, Conor, because I know you are still kind of getting over the unfortunately demise of Ireland's under-21 campaign last year. With a great crop, but like, you've watched the under-21s for a number of years now, and I'm kind of putting this out there for some of the raw faithful who might be of an older generation, but like might not know some of these players, the younger players especially. The under-21s batch that you've seen come through the last couple of campaigns, technically as footballers now, do you think, like, are they better than, that kind of generation perhaps before them? Like, probably a little bit unfair to say, like so Robbie Brady, Jeff Hendrick, people like that. But are we developing technically better players now? Do you think we're developing technically better footballers now? You hear me, Conor?
Sorry, Martin, I'm lagging there.
All right,
I can hear you now. Repeat that question again.
So I said, you've watched the under-21s last few campaigns, yeah? And you've watched a lot of these young players coming through now. Do you think the generation of players coming through that Ireland are developing now are better technically than their predecessors? Like, I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to name names, but like Robbie Brady, brilliant career. Jeff Hendrick, I love Robbie as a player. I thought he was incredible. That left foot of his, of course. But do you think we are developed? Even like, for example, I know we didn't develop Josh Cullen, for example, but these players now coming into these teams, are they technically better players now? Are they a kind of modern player now? Like, you see, for example, England's underage teams doing really well. They're all technically great on the ball, fast, twisty, turny players. Have we got those with Ireland, with these lads coming through?
I think that the 02, 03, 04 group of lads from them years born, I think that's probably a huge. Even from 2000 to 2004, I would say the talent.
Oh, we're losing you a little
couple of years, because there was. Sorry, Jake. You know what you're. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're gonna hear. Yeah.
The talent pool from lads born in 2000 to 2004 is unprecedented for the amount of, like, technically gifted lads, that a mixture of lads that are very technically brilliant, lads that are elite athletes, lads that are ball carriers, or lads that are very good defenders. I think it's a real mix of that. And I do think there was a huge period, like, if you look at the generation of lads that are Josh Cullen's age, Ryan Manning's age, very, very few of them lads broke through, or even playing at a half decent level. Now, a lot of them lads that would have been playing for the Ireland under-21s at their age, or under-19s, are now National League players, or very low down the League of Ireland period. So no, I do think there is a very, very talented crop of lads coming through. Like, it's a travesty that over the past 3 campaigns, none of the under-21s has qualified, because like this last campaign, there was by far Ireland were the best team in that group, and it still haunts me now to think that they're not going to that Euros next summer, because it's such a platform for young lads to build on. But no, but there's just like so much talent, I think, that's coming through that and in particular, I think it's not even just you're seeing the national team improve, you're seeing the player pool depth improve massively, because like, even if you look, for example, the centre halves, like John Egan gone to Hull today, like that's not even like, he's not even considered for the Ireland squad anymore. Like, simple as that. Like, lads like that aren't even he wouldn't even register him at all. He has no chance of making the Ireland squad. Like, and usually a couple of years ago, lads that were playing in the championship were searched to make the Ireland squad. So it is really starting to improve in terms of context, and that even if we had to fall back on, we got 5 or 6 centre back injuries, which is not going to happen, you wouldn't be worried in the slightest if John Egan had to come back into the Ireland squad because of the depth we have. So things are improving. Lads are more technically gifted. Obviously, with Brexit, that was kind of the last generation of lads that went to England at 16 for development. So now you have to hope that these lads are getting the same development at home, which sub clubs are very good. Some clubs have a lot to ground to make up for, but I do think there is still a lot of them lads coming through that can make a huge impact and are not just very good athletes. They're a lot of good footballers in the same sense.
Yeah, I think it's a good point there. And again, this one here from Downtown 123. Good night, lads. League of Ireland needs the Irish government to put decent money into the game. Good transfer window for Irish players. But that's what it comes down to: the funding of Irish football, basically, to develop these players, as they have to stay there a bit longer. You are seeing lads making moves. Like even I think back to about 2 or 3 years ago. Dawson Devoy made the move over, didn't he? From the League of Ireland teams, when they were successful teams in England, took a gamble on some of these lads to come over. It was worth doing it, getting a bit of a few quid for kind of having a go at it. But I think we want to look at the long-term kind of players coming through now, and I'll answer my own question. I think like some of the lads are technically brilliant now. It's just the game's so fast, and I was actually reading the point from Michael Owen earlier saying he doesn't really think. He thinks, there's a lot of it's been focused now on being physically fast and quick, and the technical kind of part of the game's gone out of it. Like, you don't even have to have a very good touch now to get a career in football. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think some of these players are very, very good. Like, the speed of the game, I think even non-league what I watch is totally alien to what I used to watch years ago. So I think, it's important, obviously, we do develop these players. We're going to go through a few comments and then we'll jump back into a few transfers. Obviously, about 20 minutes left of the window, so we will try and follow Annie from Ireland. But yeah, we'll go through a few of the comments. Just one who's... is that your own account there, is it, Conor? Rep Tracker, best in the business. Well done with that. Dave's talking a bit of nonsense there. Won't bother showing that one. Who do we think will do the best out of the lot that got moves this month? Great question there from Max. If you are watching, give us your comments. Let us know.
Pull it up on the screen there. Pull it up on the screen there, Martin.
This one? Which one?
Yeah, that one there. No, it wasn't on it wasn't on the screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just for
who do we think
fans
will do the best out of the lot that got moves this month? So who do you think is going to do the best? Do you think it will be Evan? Are you gonna focus a little bit now on watching Festy, see how he gets on? If you can get a screaming service, do DM us if you do ever want to reach out to the show. You can message us, follow us on all our socials. If you want to know where Dave and Conor get this illegal streaming service so they can watch Festy's matches, also catch up with them on that. Endorsing it last night. Official sponsors obviously gonna all pull away from the show now. We've got this lunatic as well, David Dunn. I think Gavin will tear it up in Belgium, but I believe in Fergie at West Ham. The fans will love him if he gives 100%. He will, but if he doesn't cut it, they will savage him. You were very scathing last night, Conor, about the West Ham stadium. You're not happy with that. You don't like it. You're not a fan of the stadium there, the London Stadium.
Martin, that's the worst question you've ever asked.
What?
Does anyone like that stadium? Does anyone like it?
No, yeah, you're a bit away from it. I know you're a bit away from it, but like, no, I mean, I don't mind going. Like, I do. I'm trying to watch a little bit more football with different teams now and different levels and stuff. So I will try and catch Evan down there. Just see
And
how,
you'll be
how he
like,
gets
this
on.
is not a football stadium.
I know I've been there. It's I was there for rugby and it was shite, but I've been there for a Man United game and that was shite as well. But yeah. But look, it's what I want to see on the pitch, I suppose. Right, we've got Neil Kennedy for the transfers from League of Ireland. Will it be the case of the likes of Melia going for proper money and a sudden raise in general transfers money wise, or will it be a gradual increase of fees for players? And he also follows that up with Melia is an outlier. I hope more goes towards the clubs for their prospects.
Melia, Martin. Melia.
Melia.
No, he is. Melia will be an outlier in that sense that he'll be so much more than anyone else. But I do think that we will see a increase because there's more eyes in the product now. There's more people invested in it. More clubs from foreign countries are coming in. Like we've seen, Como signed Naz Razi before he was ever really considered a proper first teamer. Shamrock Rovers for like 600k, which is a lot for an Irish player to go to. I know Italy like to spend money on young players, but I think that shows the likes of Shamrock Rovers that they got probably the full worth for a player that age at that time when he was only 16 and not really playing first team football. So I think we are starting to see clubs are starting to see more, but the more I think they're starting to see that English clubs are just taking the piss out of them for years, offering horrible money for these players, and that they're starting to realize that no, we can actually demand a fee, because if the Italian clubs can afford to play 600k for a young lad, so can the English clubs.
And that's it. David Dunn just follows up there. If Melia goes for proper money, it could be a watershed moment for the League of Ireland. I think Irish clubs have lacked confidence when dealing with their counterparts in terms of asking for a fair transfer fee. And an interesting one here is from Keith Morell. Matthew Crawford signed a pro contract with Al Riyadh in Saudi. 17-year-old keeper from Waterford. Aware of that one, Conor? Do try and catch him out. Make names up if you want. I'm joking.
There was a few names made up. So Gavin Bazunu has just been announced as a Standard Liège footballer. If you go to your Twitter and you see Standard Liège, his Twitter, you'll see that Gavin Bazunu has been announced. So he's officially.
There we go. So there's breaking news.
15 minutes to spare, Gavin Bazunu.
Brilliant. Really happy with that. That's Gavin Bazunu that he has. We spoke about earlier on the show. Bazunu has. This was a speculation we chatted about earlier, so I just throw it up again. But it is happened now. Standard Liège, they're not attempting to get him now because they have him. It will be a loan till the end of the season. So brilliant for Irish football. I think that Gavin's back, first of all, from injury. But now he's actually getting that move over there as well. So another league for you to follow, Conor, on your various streaming services, which I'm sure you'll be happy about. And Dave will be happy about as well. And we've got a little bit of input now. Oh, Jesus, this is a very speculative one. Old Dude 420, he's put up an 11 Irish players here, is it? My 11, Bazunu, Ebosele, Abankwah, Omobamidele, Ogbene, Benoa, Razi, Orazi, Melia, Armstrong, and Parrott. I mean, Armstrong, I'm not sure about that one. Not really kicked on for me from his move.
Shut up,
QPR.
you. Shut up, you.
I don't know.
He's still young, lad. Shut up. He needs to get away from Bristol City. They're absolutely dirt. And I don't know why Ogbene is playing left back in his team.
Well, he's not got Batter in there either. Where's Rocco? I mean, it's just like you're not going to be happy with that. I mean, look, we do love doing the pod. Nearly 2,000 watching this evening. I really appreciate you watching the show this evening. Make sure that has to kind of transfer into it's transfer window night. Please transfer your viewership into subscriptions of the show. It does make a huge difference to us with algorithms and all that nonsense. So as I said,
nothing.
Copy the link. Yeah, it costs nothing. This is all free from us spending our Monday night chatting to you, chatting to Conor. Conor spends so much time on this. Dave less so, of course. He's holidaying in February in Brighton. So, crying with the Brighton faithful that Evan Ferguson's left. But, look, we do appreciate your support this evening. So make sure you do tell your mates about it. This is the most interactive Irish football podcast out there. We don't praise ourselves too much like other shows. And I'm being very bitchy now because Conor's distracted. Conor's still trying to get there. He's like Jim White here. I'm sorry, I've just got latest news like Harry Redknapp. Stephen Kenny's messaging him. Just
Stephen Kenny.
Ask Jim Crawford what he thinks. But look, we obviously following up with this show with future shows, just to see how the lads, we follow the boys in green all over the world, watching them playing for Ireland, but also weekly. We do a weekly show on YouTube where we will chat about the lads, how they've got on over the weekend, to keep you updated with it. It takes a lot of work and time to go into that. A lot of illegal streaming, watching by Conor and Dave. And then you have Conor and Dave turn round and say how disappointed they'll be if that player's not in the 60-man squad that Heimer's going to have to pick to get them all in March, because it's another one they add to the
shut
list.
up, Eula. Shut up. You want a two
right,
man
as long as O'Dowd's in it, I'm happy. So yeah, do follow us, do follow the show, and join us again for the future shows where we will be catching up, seeing how these moves are. I mean, it's a great question earlier. Who do you think the transfer window is going to work out best for, and who you perhaps disappointed hasn't got the move? They will be dripping through now in the next few hours just to see if there are any moves, like obviously the McAteer one we're focusing on. That might happen, but yeah, just been confirmed that Bazunu has gone to Standard Liège, and we've got confirmation as well that Dave he's actually brought the League One pass. Oh, he brought that. So yeah, another thing, he loves to buying all these dodgy channels and stuff. So yeah, great to have your input this evening. Let us know now again, give us your views. Who else you think? A player who made his debut tonight, which we kind of missed out on this. Mark Travers, he conceded 3 though, did he? He was behind your mate, wasn't he? Finazaz tonight. Mark Travers made his debut this evening. I mean, I'm really happy that he got a move as well. I think he needed to play more. Obviously, happy with that. And yeah, that's another one that we were quite impressed with. And this one as well, I noticed. Milanik Ali.
This is a great story.
Exeter City. Yeah, tell us this story then, Conor.
Yeah, this is a story I really like now. He's gone from, he played for St Francis in Dublin, and now he obviously went to England as a young lad to further his career in football. And if you look at his journey, he's been at, I would say, 7, 8 non-league teams in England trying to make it. He was at Stockport at one stage, and went on loan to non-league. I know he was at Halifax Town. He was at 12 months ago. He was excellent at Halifax Town, one of the best players in National League. Earned himself a move to Leyton Orient. It was 12 months ago. It was last January, and then 12 months later, he's now a Championship footballer. So in a space of 12 months, he has gone from playing in the National League in England to the Championship, and it's a real story of, he's been through a lot in terms of his footballing career, going from bouncing around National League clubs. I remember him saying that he was at one stage, he was at a club that it was a National League club that you trained once a week and you just played your matches at the weekend, but he's kept working away and he's kept at it, and he's seriously turned into a proper player. He scored a serious amount of goals for Leyton Orient this season, and he's not a striker, or he plays kind of off the wing, or can play as a number 10. So it's a great story. It's one of the better stories now in terms of journey wise for an Irish football I've seen in a long time, because it just shows that no matter what level, you can eventually find your level if you keep working and not giving up on what his aspirations are. Because now he's put himself, actually, like, he's gone from being never even near an Ireland underage squad, and I put himself in the window for Heimer Hallgrimsson if he performs well in the Championship, which would be an incredible story now if he goes on to represent Ireland at senior level. Obviously, there's a long way before he does that, but it's such an impressive story, and one that I love.
Yeah, no, it's important. I think we've spoken about the importance of players finding their levels, having a bit of time, getting that little bit of luck as well. I mean, you just said there he was playing, like, non-league football, basically training once a week, and you're trying to be a professional footballer. And I know I go on about Enfield Town here, but we had a guy, he's actually went to Gillingham. He got Enfield Town promoted last year, Marcus Wiley, and he got his move out of, got a professional contract with Gillingham. It's not really worked out for him so far, but he's young. He's actually eligible for Cyprus, because I was trying to see, was there any chance of any bit of Irish in him? But it just is incredible, and these lads are doing it for the love of the game. They're playing, they're working their nuts off, to be honest, trying to be professional footballers, and are happy to go down the leagues and prove themselves. And that's where I think, it's transfer window tonight. obviously we've been talking about it all this evening, and I think sometimes people just why we've done this show tonight, especially, was to focus on Irish players, of course. But sometimes people get disillusioned with football, and you see the mad money that's going for and all these deals and not happening because players won't take a 50% wage cut on 300 grand a week. It's ridiculous, like the levels of football. But obviously we love it, and yeah, that's why we love doing the show as well, to give you these stories. So yeah, best of luck to him, mate. It's an incredible story, of course. We've got a few other ones we're just going to come on to covering as well. Aaron Cashin, he went to Brighton, didn't he? The other way.
Talked about him a lot, yes. Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Talked
So do
about that one a lot yesterday.
Catch up with the show from last night, where Aaron Cashin is another one that Conor wants to see in Heimer's 99-man squad in March. No, look, I'm obviously interested there.
I only want the good footballers. I only want the good players in my squad.
I think we are excited. Like we've been chatting about these Irish footballers for a number of months now on the show, and they've become familiar to us. And obviously, Conor knows his stuff better than anybody, and we have got great contacts as well. We obviously can't disclose everything we often hear, but and of course we get carried away with speculation. We want Irish footballers to do well, but we are excited. I'm not going to lie. I think Aaron Cashin's one. This guy as well, Tom Cannon, is for me a really important player for Ireland going forward. He got the move from Leicester to Sheffield United. Hope he kicks on as well. We've often spoken about Bosun Lowell on this. Do want Bosun to kind of get settled in now, playing more, because he's a problem position for us, that midfield in Ireland. And we just want to emphasise as well, this podcast and show is all by the fans for the fans. Like, we love hearing from you, the Raw faithful. Nearly up to 2,000 viewers tonight on Monday night, which is incredible. We will be at all the games in March as well, following.
No, you won't. Don't lie to our viewership.
The Raw faithful.
You won't be there. Don't you lie to them. You won't be there.
We will be at the games in Bulgaria. There'll be a presence of Lansdowne Raw
there, because you're a horrible human being.
At all these games, of course, and if we can't be there in person, well, I can't be there in person because circumstances get in the way sometimes. I'm sure I'll be on as well. So don't just abandon the lads and listen to their nonsense. If you do want to hear from the sense of the show, you will be able to catch me on it and engage if you want on obviously the socials as well. Just over the 2,000 viewers there. So thanks again for your support this evening. But yeah, look, we've got lots of plans for the website. We've got a team of writers on that, which is some fantastic articles. Conor said he's been writing away as well. And as I said, like, we've got connections in Irish football. I'm the chairman of the Republic of Ireland Soccer Supporters Club in London. I'll give a shout out now for our quiz that's taking place in March. We'll get a banner up of that soon enough as well for that. But yeah, look, myself and Dave are based in London. Conor, you're in what part of Northern Ireland are you? Conor is obviously in Ireland, and yeah, we attend all the Irish games when we can get there. Every game for me is an away game, and Dave. But yeah, look, you can always reach out to us. We know about the ticketing information for games, how to get away tickets. Obviously, I run a supporters club as well with the help of the fantastic committee in London, which has been going for 40 years now. A big year for us last year. So we've got lots and lots of things going up and in the pipeline, and we do appreciate your support. So yeah, do give us a follow on all our socials. And Conor, well done for this evening. We're not finished yet, though. There must be one last deal.
Not done yet.
Come on, we're coming up to five to.
We've a few more deals here that we could probably talk about.
Following, I'm just looking at Sky there, seeing my good mate there, Clinton Morrison, up on the screen, and brilliant. We had a great. Do listen back to all of our previous shows, where we've had some fantastic guests as well. We've done a live show in November when England and Ireland played. We had Ian Hart, Clinton Morrison, and Alan Kelly with us at the London Irish Centre. So we had a good chat about all sorts of things there. Saipan, of course, came up. Clinton Morrison, absolutely brilliant guy, as you know, from Sky. I'm watching Ireland, and Ian Hart with some fantastic stories. So do support the show. Give us the back catalogue a listen on YouTube, and make sure you do hit that subscribe button and like the show and comment, and we will engage, of course, with you.
We've a few more transfers to go through. I think we should, especially young lads that fans won't be that aware of. So we have
we've got this guy. Here we go. Can I go with that one? Oh, I jumped in.
Coming up on your screen there, section. Is it coming up?
I went Aiden.
Up. Aiden Gabidon, yeah. Has it come up?
Yeah, Aiden Gabidon.
There, he's signed for. He's
Malmo,
first Irish player to sign for Malmo. Yeah, he it was a story that was exclusively dropped on the Lansdowne Roar website at the weekend and last week, and he's a defender, a centre half, could play right back, very talented young lad, brilliant athlete, very good on the ball. Was on trial at Malmo last year in March time, impressed massively. They invited him back to play in the Gothia Cup in the summer. They won the tournament. He was one of their key men. Then he's been offered a contract, and thankfully he signed for them last week after really impressing. And Malmo's the type of club that if we're going to send Irish lads abroad at 16, you want them going there because their whole emphasis is on promoting young talent and basically just making money off them, which is not a bad thing for young talent when you just want to be the best possible player. And they're the number one rated academy in Sweden, one of the very best in Scandinavia. So it's an absolutely brilliant move, and it's one that we hope will happen more often now with young Irish lads, because even though the England option is always the dream for lads, if a lad like that went to Sweden, broke through at Malmo when he's 18, 19, plays there for a couple of seasons, it's the perfect springboard to go on then to play at that next level, because continually trying to break through in England is just not viable anymore for young lads. It's not even a thing of breaking through. It's once you break through, they've bundles and bundles of cash then to spend on someone from South America when they turn 18, or someone from even anywhere else in Europe. So it's a step forward in terms of lads. If we're going to send them to European countries, the likes of them Scandinavian countries are brilliant, because it's a level actually our clubs need to start aspiring to, because we can definitely get to the level of clubs in Sweden, Norway, Denmark. So hopefully it continues. And I think another one that we all would have seen the other day was Grady McDonald, that has gone from Vancouver FC to Club Bruges. If that's going to come up, is it up on your screen, Mark?
Yep, got it up. Yep.
That's not. He second highest fee in the league's history, highest fee in Vancouver FC's history. Was their first ever, or he's their youngest ever player that's ever played for the club, youngest ever player to sign a professional contract when he was 15. So he qualifies for Ireland through his Irish father. Positive thing is, Martin, when you have Irish parents, you have a huge loyalty to the country. And I believe when he comes over to Ireland, whenever his family, he would always train with Shamrock Rovers is when he's here. So he's an excellent player, a superb athlete in the middle of the park, brilliant ball carrier. He's always been a standout at underage level for Ireland, from under 15s to under 17s level now. And going to a club like Club Bruges, he'll be with their academy side, which they call Club Next, which play in the Challenger Pro League, which is the second tier of Belgium. So hopefully he will get first team football with their Challenger Pro League team as soon as possible, because it's still a very high standard. Like Matt Healy, who was starting with their 21s there, was playing in that league the past couple of years, and it's a very good standard of football, which, and it's like, if he breaks in that Club Next team the next couple of years, he's only one step away from Club Bruges' first team, which will be like they played, as St. Injury did. Like he was in awe of watching them play against Juventus last week and thinking that could be him one day of playing there. So like he's obviously impressed a lot when he's played for Ireland, but these scouts of Club Bruges would have been there watching him. So it's a huge move for an Irish international to go to a club like that, which is, as I said, the type of move, if you want them sort of countries, is where we want to see lads go to if they're going to take the leap beyond Ireland, because we want them going to a club that promotes on youth development, and that's our biggest emphasis, is developing young talent and trying to get them to the next level, because it's all well and good going to England and going to even Spain or going to Italy, but if the emphasis is not bringing through academy players, what benefit really is it? Because you can be as good as you want technically, tactically, if you don't start playing first team football till you're 21, 22, you're a long way behind.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it. I just go back to the point I made earlier. Even like these deals where, loan deals as well. I think back to like John O'Shea's career at Man United, obviously an Irish legend, and when he went over to Antwerp with Man United, did that link up, and it was just so beneficial to his development as a footballer. And I think it's just so important, some of these transfers. That's why we've obviously covered it this evening. Loan moves are not a sign. I think people have got to get that mindset out of their head that, oh, he's finished. Like Evan Ferguson, I'm sure some people read the headline still, though, Conor, and they'll go, oh, he must be shit now. He's obviously not rated. They're loaning him out. I mean, you look back in football history and you'll see some massive names in football all had loan moves at times. And, it just sometimes needs just a change of scenery for them. or a manager showing them a bit of love or giving them opportunity and just a change of kind of circumstances away sometimes for bad influences as well. Let's be honest. But I don't think that's the case with most of our lads, to be honest. And we only want the best for the Irish footballers, especially these young lads. And I think it's incredible, the insight you've given us tonight, Conor, that, some of these lads are going abroad. That was unheard of a while ago, and obviously it's a little bit of a change in dynamic with Brexit and things like that. But, we wish the lads all the best. We hope they settle in there. We'll obviously be following them on our weekly shows on OBIG to see how they're getting on and focus on. I mean, that OBIG's going to be bigger and bigger now, and it's going to be international flavour, of course, trying to follow all the games with them. But, we do have the talent coming through. So I would always say keep the faith with Irish football. Yeah. I know people don't read the headlines and see Ireland qualifying for things and they think, oh, well, he's this has happened. He's obviously not any good now because he doesn't even make it at Brighton. It's not the case at all with these lads. They just need to find their way, get a bit of faith shown in them, get the profile going again. And I'm sure we'll be hearing of Evan Ferguson on Match of the Day. Same with like other players there who've made these big moves. So yeah, really do wish them all the best with that.
A few more comments to get through, Martin, don't we?
Yeah,
a few more comments.
Brady. Yeah, where's that? Yeah, what's the story with John Egan going from Burnley to Hull?
Done.
Do you know anything about that?
Done deal.
Yeah, it's a done deal. Yeah,
done deal.
Yeah, it has moved. I think it was an undisclosed fee they said there, but 18-month deal was seen came up. So yeah, delighted for John. I mean, look, Irish legend as well. Like sadly injured towards the end of his career with Ireland, kind of curtailed his time with Ireland. But brilliant for us. I think of that goal in Portugal. Against Portugal, which unbelievable that time. So really, really top player for Ireland back in the day. And yeah, wish him all the best. It is a short career as well. They need to make the most out of these careers that they had, the lads. And I'm sure that a lot of these kind of older statesmen of Irish football who are still, they still have a lot to offer. I see Kieran Clark actually. We'll give a shout out to Kieran Clark. He's a free transfer at the moment. He's a free agent. But no one
free agent for a while now, isn't
he? Yeah. I thought I'd give a mention there.
It's Jeff Hendrick's been a free agent for a long time also.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I'd actually like to see Jeff Hendrick. I'd like to see Jeff Hendrick try it in the League of Ireland, but I don't even know if he'd make much of an impact anymore because unfortunately he's at the age now, it seems, his just legs aren't able to keep up with the mind because I know he's not very well liked, but he is a smart footballer. And if you rely on your football brain, if your legs go, it's a long way to make up for it because he probably still had a bit to give when he left. Was it Newcastle? Was he on loan still at Newcastle, Sheffield Wednesday last season? I can't remember.
Yeah.
So
loan.
I'd imagine he's all right money wise. So I don't think he's too fussed now about where he goes. But it would be nice to see if he came back to the League of Ireland. Well, he never really played in the League of Ireland, but like test himself at home. It would be good for. But I don't know what people aren't going to go. But no harm to Jeff Hendrick. No one's going to buy tickets because Jeff Hendrick's playing. But it would help bringing that other
It's the profile though, isn't it? You're giving him something back a little bit, I think, and he was involved when he came through St. Kevin's Boys with Robbie Brady.
He did
that generation. So, wish him all the best as well. I mean, I'm hoping some of these lads are going to do their badges, probably looking to coaching now, perhaps getting involved again underage, scene with Ireland or even some of the League of Ireland teams. Look, you think back, Damien Duff, incredible career at Chelsea. Playing Champions League football, brilliant Premier League player, Damien Duff, of course, and he went back and he settled in with League of Ireland teams underage and set high standards for them, and then he brought that back into his mindset of obviously then leading them to Shelbourne to a league title. So that was amazing to see. A comment here from Shane: Trent Cohn-Doherty made the bench for Liverpool in the Champions League last week. Hopefully the Derry man gets an under 21 call up soon. Do you think that'll happen?
He won't get one to at least June anyway because he'll be with under 19s. Under 19s have the elite qualifiers in March and they will play Germany. But I can't even remember, to be honest. Germany, someone else. But and he'll be one of the key men in that group, and they will prioritize under 19 competitive matches over under 21 friendlies. So it will be June anyway because they, even though they have Germany in their group, that Ireland squad has a lot of talent himself. And Ike Razi on the wings is very scary with even Cahill O'Sullivan there as well as another wing option. So No, we will see Trent probably in June time, and if they don't qualify, it'll be June time. If they qualify, it'll be September. With the 21s, well, he will probably might need to get first team football by then, because there'll be a lot of lads on the wing that be playing first team football. Thankfully, we have a lot of talent coming through in the wings, Martin, which we haven't had in a long time. But there's a lot of top prospects in the wing.
Yeah, which is great to see, of course. And I think, we need to really think about the fact that a lot of Irish fans, it's familiar to us when we see the senior squads and the interest in Irish football peaks around, obviously, the senior squad. But you have to remember as well, a lot of these lads that we're talking about, and Conor's especially referencing these young players coming through, they've got some great experience already. A lot of them have come through that underage setup, under 15s, 17s, 19s, and are playing and getting really good results against top international sides, and have consistently done that over the years. It's just transferring that into the senior football, obviously, which is the most high profile and everything else. And, we're looking forward to games in March. It does take all these players time, but, they are experienced, and it's just obviously getting that breakthrough, and that's important, of course. And so we do hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, where we've spoken about some of these players coming through. Just the last few comments. We've got Jason Fitzsimmons, long-time supporter of the show. Good lad, Jason. Seen him on his travels around the world watching Ireland.
He'll be going to Plovdiv,
I'm sure he will be. If Travers and Bazunu get regular game time, is Kelleher dropped from number one? Then we've got David saying, no, Jason, he is not. Just shutting that down. It's a great question. I mean, Kelleher will be number one for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's his to lose now. But again, it's important.
Is it not Fitzsimons, by the way? Is it not Fitzsimons?
Fitzsimons, yeah. Sorry, Fitzsimons. What did I say? Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons.
What did I say? I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
Good lad, Jason. But yeah, I think Kelleher possibly a move in the summer. Some of these players we've kind of spoken about, the ones that have come through at the moment, and some of these players will make moves to, like in the summer. You would be thinking that's Kelleher now, and it's just a little merry go around, especially with goalkeepers. I mean, you think Kelleher's incredible experience, winning trophies, playing Champions League football, winning cup finals, sadly, from a Man United perspective. But, brilliant career so far, and he's going to have a long career ahead of him. Hopefully he stays injury free. Like, goalkeepers go to like 40, don't they? So, he'll get lots and lots of moves, Kelleher, or he'll be a number one somewhere, and he's got lots of time on his side. And of course, he's getting the best of coaching at Liverpool, the best experience, even being a backup, but getting game time in the Champions League as a number two. So, he's going to be our most vastly experienced goalkeeper there, whatever way you look at it. But, we do have, again, this want to see him as a number one, making saves week in, week out. And I don't know, is a question really that perhaps we'll discuss on a future show, but is that needed? It happened in Irish football in the past. Alan Kelly, Paki Bonner, Shay Given, all rotating between in qualification campaigns. We had it later on, David Ford, Shay Given. So we've had goalkeepers who've had to do that, of course. So it's just, goalkeepers have to take their opportunity, don't they? So that's the kind of situation with it. Last few comments here. Conor McAvoy, the Fabrizio Romano for the fish and chip crowd. There you go. And League of Ireland. There you go. And great show as always, lads. Yeah, thank you for your support this evening. Nearly 2,200 watching us, which is amazing, and we do appreciate that. So do make sure you subscribe. Reach out to us at Lansdowne Road, and we've got the website, of course, as well. So lansdowneroad.ie, and follow us on all our socials as well. Conor McAvoy at Rep Tracker, where you'll find him trawling social media, following random footballers, chatting with agents, getting DMs, telling us all exclusive information, because he's trusted, as we all are, with knowing what's happening in Irish football and trying to promote it and getting the profile of these lads up. And hopefully that will all transfer onto the pitch in March. We are now 12 minutes past the end of the English transfer window closing. So I'm sure there'll be a few loan deals coming through late on, and we'll be sure to be covering them on future episodes as well. Anything before we go, Conor?
Kasey McAteer's going nowhere.
He's going nowhere. There we
that's
go.
one we can. I think we can safely say that the fact, because they'd have to apply for an extension, and the deal would have to be that at least say he's having a medical at this stage. But I think we can safely say Kasey McAteer will be staying at Leicester. At least if they think highly enough of him to keep him on board, which you'd like to think will result in more game time between now and the end of the season. But I probably would have preferred if he went off to Sunderland and played more regularly.
Yeah, I would agree with you there with that, because, I think of, even look, we're both Man United fans as well for our sins, but, you think of Ahmad going to Sunderland, and he got a great run there and was one of their best players, really loved by them as a winger. And Kasey McAteer is an exciting winger ultimately, so he could have done a job there with them. They seem to like that type of player, and, that wouldn't have been a bad mood there at all. But, look, I think it's been really a great night in Irish football in a sense that we've summarised some of these transfer moves, seeing like some of our incredible talent, some young players who might not be familiar to everybody have got moves. So we'll be following them, obviously tracking them. Hey, little pun for you there, little rep tracker over there in the corner. But, we're following the lads week in, week out, seeing how they get on. I'm excited to see what Evan Ferguson happens now and the rest of the season for him. Aaron Cashin as well. I think that's a great move. And Omobamidele makes us all have to watch and learn French. And another one I'd be interested in as well, Tom Cannon. I'm quite happy with that one because I do think he's going to be in the next.
Oh, you love Tom Cannon. You want to marry Tom Cannon.
I do.
You watch. You'll come back in 3 years' time and you'll be saying, Conor was right. Sinclair Armstrong up front against these big oppositions when we play the top sides. How much he'll affect the game when we play the likes of France in the Euro semi-final. How much we need a striker like that. You watch how it develops.
Hopefully he'll adapt to the crossing of Callum O'Dowda and then.
He'll be well retired by then.
yeah, perhaps. All right. So finally, just to say thank you again for watching this evening. Appreciate your time, Conor. Thanks again for your fantastic input to the show. I mean, we couldn't do it without you. We could do it without Dave, but we can't do it without you, Conor. So do appreciate.
Thank you very much.
There you go. All right. That's over and out from the Lansdowne Raw podcast. Good night and God bless.
Yeah.